My name is Mark Anthony Dubois Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986, and I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today I'm talking about something that I was thinking about. I watched someone else's channel and hearing them talk about something that really got me thinking. Can you train yourself to be a better leader? Because now you are trained up and you have all the skills and everything, does that mean that now you are a good leader? Or is there something else behind that we need to focus more of our energy on? Because I know anybody that's worked in your life, some people, if you've never had a job anywhere, especially if you're past the age of, I'd say like 20 years old and you've never had a job, something weird about that. But pretty much everyone, we've all worked at a place that we've all been around a person that knows the job really well. Like they're good. They got the skill set. Like they got it down packed. So for me, I worked a lot of warehouses, and some of these guys that would work the little fork trucks and forklifts and work the little computers and the scanners and worked all these things. They had it all down packed. They had it all. Their skill set was just absolutely amazing. Like they were just on it. Oreo, all done. They were just on it. And but because that they know all those skills, does that mean now that that person is going to be able to? Because usually in the workplace, because we've always all had this, that they would put that person to be like your leader and your teacher to be able to show you how to do what they do. Does that mean because that person has all those skills and has all that training that they're going to be able to be the leader to be able to guide you, show you how to be able to do the same thing? For some reason, I know this. If you haven't, you've had a blessed life. But I know that we've all been in this situation. But why do we think that works in other areas of our life, even though it doesn't work in that, say, main area of our life? You could be married to a man that is perfect at his work. He's just the best of the best. He's trained up. He's got all the skills. He's just the best. Does that mean that he's a good husband? Does that mean that he knows how to be able to make sure that his family, his kids, his everything is going to be able to be living in, what I want to say is peace, in a way that there's no arguing, battling, bickering. There's no just fights all the time. It's going to be tiffs and fights here and there, but all the time. Because I've been in the households that it's just like it's a fight from day one. It's just a fight every day, all the time. That's not healthy at all. But these people have the skills, they have the training to be able to do something. But in other parts of their life, it all just starts to fail. Because in my mind, you can't train to be a leader. It's something that we do. It's who we are. Can you get new habits? Yes. But you're not going to train yourself for a new habit, because it's something that you just have to be. You can't think I'm going to be able to get enough training and then I'm good and then I'm going to move forward and then I'm going to finally be able to be able to have people listen to what I have to say. No, you have to do the small things, such as wake up a little earlier, go to sleep a little later, do things that are just uncomfortable to you, knowing that it needs to be done because it's for the benefit of everything else around you. Just having to constantly do that over and over and over again. That's building the habits, building the skill set of those habits to actually be able to become a leader. Because for some reason, I just see this so much from people, especially with these darn dogs, is you think like once the dog does all these things and once the dog has all this training and it has all these skills, it's now going to be able to be something good for me. In reality, it's I'm going to say this, it is what it is. I don't 100% agree with it, but I get where he's coming from. That the guy I listen to, he says that an educated woman makes for a horrible wife, because now it's like you almost like know too much, you do too much, and now you're so focused on you're not focused on anything else around you. And when you're not focused on things around you, you're not much of a good leader. You're thinking of how can I keep getting my training, my skills, my everything good so that I'm good, but everything else, y'all got to fight for your own ways, and that's not a good leader. And that's what I could say is I could see in a dog. The dog's got all the skills. It knows how to sit. It knows this. It knows this. It knows this. And then it kind of was going to have in his brain of like, well, I don't really need you anymore. What do I need you for? I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. So I don't need to listen to a single thing that you have to say. And that's where a lot of disconnect starts to happen with a lot of people. You think because you're really, really good at something that you're a good leader. You think that because you know how to even train somebody, you think that you're a good leader. And those just, they don't line up. They're not the same. They're not the same. They're like completely opposite way differences of concepts and ideas here. Just because it's trained doesn't mean it's going to want to hang out and listen to you. Just because it's a good leader means that it's good at training. And that's some of the stuff that I listen to the guys. It's so strange. Of the people that really how do I say this? They're the most influential in creating work, creating jobs. Someone that's able to create jobs, that's a leader. They may not have the skills, they may not be the best trained, but they're able to do that. There's something powerful. But and most of the people that are top, I don't want to use a word, but it's the easiest word, of leaders that have the most people employed under them, they really don't have that great of skills. Because what they do is they use their leadership to find the people with the skills, and they get the people with skills together, they get the people with training together to be able to get them to focus on that. And then they're able to have a whole different, say, conversation with them that has nothing to do with that training. And that's what's able to make everything grow, to be great, to be better. Not being able to get your training better, but being able to get the people together. And that's a completely different skill set. And that's something that for some reason, if you're living in these lands thinking you're a good leader because you have the training, you're a good leader because you can get something you could train something, that has nothing to do with it. It has absolutely nothing to do with being able to make sure that there's going to be, that we're going to use is peace in your household and peace with the people that are around you. There's something completely different here. Don't think that I could train my way to be a better leader, because there's so many like leadership courses. My goodness, like especially in the church, this is like more bigger in the church than it is in like business. Of like, we need to train up young guys and young women to be better leaders. You can't give them a skill set and think that now they're going to be able to be a better leader. It has nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing. But yet that's what's pushed over and over and over again. And that's where I can see people today fail with the dog. Because you think that I'm a trainer, I trained them, I gave them all the training, now everything should be good. Oh yeah, it's going to be good over there when that training is needed. But when there's no training needed, they no longer want to be anywhere around you. Because if you're not a good leader with the being able to be a good trainer, they're not going to want to be anywhere around you. That's where people look good when you have the, just say dog for instance, in a dog sport, in the training field, in a training atmosphere, and all that training stuff. They look beautiful, because you're a good trainer, awesome trainer. But when you're just sitting at the house, when you're just sitting at the patio in the park and just hanging out and relaxing, the animal wants nothing to do with you. It wants nowhere to be around you. And that shows that you're a no good leader. But you can be a good trainer. And that's where I believe people are stumbling with finding information, especially about working with dogs, is I need to go find a trainer to help myself being able to get this dog in a better place. It's really not going to do anything for you, because training may be an hour a day or a half hour a day. Let's be easy with it, more relaxed with it. But for the other 23 and a half hours of the day, what's going on then? That's where we should be spending most of our time on. Not most of the time in training, but most of the time in leadership. Most of the time in building those habits. Most of the time in, my dog is scared of the rain. Okay, let's go out there. Doing things that you don't want to do, but you have to do to make sure that everything else as a whole is going to be able to be in a better place. You get up, you get out there, and you go make it happen. You get up, you see that they're scared, nervous, something with me that I know I'm backwards in. If they're happy about something, I just almost like overlook it in a way of like, well, there's no reason to really not overlook it like I don't care, but overlook it in a way of like, well, we're good, we're fine. I'm kind of looking for the things that are making you nervous. I'm kind of looking for the things that are getting you super excited. Let's go work on that, so that we can have less of that and more of the, say, things that we're good in and everything is great in. But if we focus in, because I saw, it's funny to me. It's not funny, but it's funny. In the dog school I went to, we had to do like play stays and down stays, sit stays, stay on the bed stays, and just stays like that. And most dogs do really good at that. You tell them to stay down and they're like, oh, we just stay down. And the dog looks great. And so many people would spend so much time on that. Like hours in a day of just stay, but not working on the things that actually make them nervous. Being in that stay and something walking up next to them, being in the stay and the weather changes, being in the stay and anything goes on. Once I get you out of the stay position, then where are we? What's going on? We didn't spend much time on that. Most people spend so much time on the stay, so much time on what they're already good at. Like, hey, look, they're doing good. They look great. But all that is meaningless at the end of the day. We need to work on what's kind of struggling, what we're not the best at. That's where a true good quality leader is going to come in. To be able to train them to do something, that's training, that's great. But when something's not working with the training, when you're, say, doing something and you have the dog in the stay and something strange happens and the dog gets startled and it moves, what are you going to do in that sense? Are you just going to double down on your training? Because if you do, you're going to stay in that training basically forever. You're just going to stay in it. But a good leader is going to say, oh, we need to work through this. We need to get you through this. We need to get you past this. And that has nothing to do with training. Absolutely nothing. It has everything to do with building a new habit of seeing that things you used to be nervous of, things you used to super excited of are meaningless now, because you've been able to overcome, get past those feelings and those emotions, to get away from irrational thoughts and thinking, to get into a rational mind of, oh, I see what's going on here. It's nothing for me to worry about. You can't train that. You have to live it. You have to be it. You have to be able to just do it. It's not something that you get skill set and now I'm going to be able to do that. There's no skill set in overcoming fear. It's just doing it, going through it over and over and over again. At first, a little bit of a distance. And hold on. I've got not 100% sure if this is good or bad, because people the science people are always out there talking about how bad wildlife are for like your domesticated animals. But I've got like, it seems like a whole family of roadrunners. I don't know why I really like them. They're kind of really neat looking, and they no longer run for me because they're just hanging out. But they literally hang out with where my chickens are going. So at some point, you're going to see a family of roadrunners out here that are wild, that are going to start to become domesticated from me of just letting them live and do what they do. But there's just a cool, darn little thing. They're just the neatest little creatures because they're so fast and they could. But sorry, I got way off topic. But I can see one over there, and it's just neat to be able to see them come over here. They're scared, and I'm not doing anything with them. I'm not throwing a treat. I'm not applying no pressure. I'm just doing nothing but just seeing them. And me doing that nothingness is going to make them investigate and want to get closer to learn more of like, what's going on? I can't train that thing to like me. I got to just be me. I got to do me. And then it's going to eventually just say, like me in the end. That's just what's going to happen. I can't train it. And the more and more I train it, the more and more it's going to be. The word I want to use here is, at the end of the day, the best word to use is dependent on me. And for me personally, some people y'all like to raise your animals that way. It makes you feel good in some sort of way that they need you. But I don't want any of my animals to need me. I want them to be able to live and be on their own. And to me, that's what leaders do. I don't want my employees, I don't want my that's the best word to use there, to need me. And a lot of companies are set up to, oh my goodness, I know so many places I've worked and so many stories I hear from people that the companies are set up that way, that they need you. You can't even take a 2-week vacation. Man, if you're lucky to get 2 straight weeks, but you can't take a week vacation without them calling you like, we need to help with this, we need help with this, because you haven't actually, all you did was give them training. You haven't done any leadership skills here. You don't want to be dependent upon that leader. You want to be able to get the information you need to be able to go off and do what you need to do. That's leadership. And that's the most, I want to say, powerful people that we have on this planet. They are not the best at skills, at training, at anything. They're the best at being able to be a good leader. They're the best at being able to get you the skills you need so that you can go off and do it on your own without me. And it's almost a blessing to be able to not have all the skills, to be able to be a good leader, to be able to get the people together, because they literally can't even ask you for assistance. You're working, you're showing someone, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, and then they learn from them how to do it, and you don't know any more than they know, and they know more than you. It kind of just lets them, don't even call him ask him a question, because he's not really going to be able to help. And that's a beautiful thing, because then it gets them to be able to figure out on their own, figure out how to be able to get through things on their own without having to require you. People fail at this with dogs. Because when the dog is nervous, you got to give it a treat, give it a treat. The dog is dependent on you. It doesn't know how to process to get through what's going on. It sees another dog, it's like, what do I do? 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 As opposed to just look at it on its own and say, I have the skills now on my own to be able to know what to do with that. That I don't need someone to throw something at me. Okay, let me add extra language in that. Make sure it's not so people can understand what I'm saying. But some people do throw things, but throw treats at them. Keep throwing treats at the dog. Handing treats to the dog. Handing treats to the dog. The dog is going to eventually be able to just process that all on its own. That leadership, you don't train that. And that's where I believe that most people are failing, not only in your workplaces, but with your own animals and your own kids and your own spouses and your own everything. Because you're trying to train them as opposed to being a leader to them. As a leader, I'm not going to, so if you're needing food, or that's the best one to put it as, the whole story of the fisherman. I could go fish for you and give you fish. And you're going to need to keep coming back to me over and over and over again. Or I can give you some at first so that you're not struggling, you're not hurting. And then I can give you some again to make sure that you're finally in a, say, blessed position. You're able to move forward. And then now I can start to show you. At first, you're not going to be the best at it, but you're going to work at it and work at it and work at it. And then eventually you're going to be able to do it on your own. And then eventually I no longer need it. You got your own stuff. You got your own everything. And a really good leader is going to set you up with what you need to be successful. So they're going to go and give you an old fishing rod that they have and say, you know, it's not the newest, it's not the best, but it'll work. And he'll just give it to you. So you can go out there on your own and you can practice, you can do what you do. And they're going to set you up with what you need to be successful, not just say, oh, go figure it out. Go, you'll be fine. That's not leadership, but that's what we do. And that's why I believe so many people are struggling with so many different areas in their life. And it's shown in the sense of, like, say, our dogs, because they can't really communicate as words back to us, where I could talk to another human being very easily be able to say to that person, that's not what I want. Well, when you say that's not what I want to the dog, it's kind of like, well, what's going on here? They're very confused with what it is our language is. And that's where the training aspect of it is not going to help, like almost 95+% of the issues that you got going on. And some of the cases, it's not going to help with 100% of the things that are going on with you. It's being a good leader. And being a good leader isn't something that you read about. It's something that you do. Being a leader isn't something that you study. You do. It's not something that you train. It's you do. You start to build the habits. And being a leader starts with you up front being able to do things that are hard for you to be able to do. It's hard for you to wake up at this time. Do it. Do it. Muscle yourself through it. Fight yourself through it. Do whatever you need to do to get through it. When you're able to do that, others are going to look at you and say, wow, that's pretty interesting. He did that even though he didn't want to do that. He's doing that consistently still, even though it's hurting him right now in the short term. But it's helping us, but it's hurting him. That's a leader. We're going to sacrifice to be able to get everything else around us better, and then worry about us later. I'll worry about my needs and my wants and my desires after I make sure that everything in my field of vision is good to go. Once all that's good to go, then more than likely, after all that's good to go, I'm going to be good to go. But it's not good to go by just giving and giving and training and training and training. It's good to go by giving them the skills to be able to be good to go on their own. And that's where there's the biggest disconnect today with, I hear this so much on the news. These kids, and they're talking about 20-year-olds. They're talking about even an 18-year-old. They're talking about even a 17 or a 16-year-old. These kids, look at these kids. This kid did this. This a grown man when he's 22 years old. That's a grown man when he's 18 years old. But we're making them to be so dependent on us that they can't do anything on their own. Why do you think we're having this huge just disruption going on in our society right now? Because they're not able to do for themselves. They need. That's the training. That's not being a leader. Being a leader is going to say, I know this sucks for even you and me right now, but we got to do this to get through this, to be able to get past this. We have to do this. We have to build new habits in us that are going to be able to allow you to be able to do on your own. I'm not going to be able to text you to make sure that you're at school on time. You got to get there. I mean, that was me right away. Kindergarten. My parents had to go to work early in the morning. It was up to all three of us kids to set the alarms, to get up, to make our breakfast, to get our bags ready, to walk to school every day. Since I was like 4 or 5 years old, that's what we had to do. That was it. It was on us to do. And that's like considered child. I don't know why. That's like child abuse nowadays. I don't need someone to text me to be on time. I don't need a reminder that I got to do this. No, I already know that I have to do it. I don't need you to call me. I don't need you to remind me. I don't need you to I'll give you extra money. I'll give you a treat. I'll do this for you if you make it. No, you got to do it just because. That's a leader. And that's the skills that we need to be able to obtain. It's not training to do it. It's the habits behind us. Thank you. I hear this so much from people. You know, my husband and my wife, they're so good at work. They're so good at this, but they're a horrible husband. They're good at training. They got all the skills like that, but they don't have any sort of good leadership qualities behind them. And then some people that end up in a leadership position that shouldn't be there because we would assume that person is going to be good because they're good at the work, that they're going to be able to get others to be able to be good at the work. That's a horrible setup. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because unfortunately, most people in that sense, this is like what I see our nation being today. You don't want to train them to be able to do what you do because you think that they're going to be able to take from you what you have. But if you were a leader, you would train them to be better than you. You would go home and research more than you even know to be able to give to them so that they could be better than you, so that they could do more than you. That's leadership. But for some reason, that's not like nowhere near what the say norm is of today. The norm of today is cutthroat. It's just withholding as much as you can to be able to make yourself still be at that top so that no one can supposedly take that position from you. I see that so much today. And that's just the biggest divide of us. The biggest divide is trying to train your way to be better as opposed to just working on habits to be able to be a better leader. Leaders are what we need on this planet, not more trained people. We don't need more educated people. We need more leaders. A good leader is going to find the people that are just enough educated to be able to get done what we need to get done. We don't need the at the end of the day, the over and above and beyond. Because in reality, people that are striving to be perfect are the most horrible people to be around because they're doing everything they can to just sabotage everyone around them. They may not even intentionally be trying to do that, but it's going on in the background because you're living in a small mindset of it's only me. And you're living in it's only me, you're a horrible leader. That's not a leader at all. At all. And that's what we do to a dog. You better this. You're a horrible leader by just doing all these little things that you're trying to tell them to do. A horrible leader. Only caring about what you need, what you want, what you desire. And I don't care what you want, but you better do what I'm telling you to do. That's an absolute horrible leader. That's the last leader on the planet that anything should strive to be. But that's like what's being shown as being normalized today. That's what a leader is. Because it's considered a dictator. That's what a leader is. And that's not what a dictator is not a leader. They're not leaders. They're just enforcers. Because once you take away that they're doing, they're incapable of doing anything else. But a leader is capable of being able to adapt to anything. Anything. Someone that's good at being able to get a company together at cutting grass, they're good at getting a company together to do roofing. They're good at getting a company together to do home health care. They're good at anything at the end of the day. They're good at it all. They're good at that whatever you put them in. That's why most people that are good in business, that are good leaders at that, they have multiples because they realize if I'm good at being able to just sell this, I can sell that. They can sell rocks. We got people that sell rocks, which are companies that I'm looking for because I want to bring in some more bedding and more things. You could sell anything. You could sell something that someone would just throw away. They could sell whatever. So they have another business. They have more opportunities because it has nothing to do with that skill set of being the best at knowing everything about this. No, a good leader is good at everything across the board, everything around. And that's what we need to strive to. That's what we need to look at. That's what we need to pay attention to when we think of what is a good leader. That's why for me, at the end of the day, looking at our political climate and political world, there's someone that is in a leadership position right now that lines up with exactly what it is that I'm saying, regardless if I agree with them or I don't agree with them, and regardless of anything. But he's able to just make money there, here. Leaders, they do good in some, they fail in others. That's what leadership is. And for some reason, nowadays, when somebody is that, we want to demonize them. And sometimes, and this is where I can see things going on in, say, our political world. Some people get too big-headed. They get too big-headed, where they start to try to dictate and control everything around them. And that could be the death of a leader with not humbling themselves, of realizing that it's not all about me. It's getting back to helping everyone else around. And that's where sometimes it's a what do you call a slippery slope, because that's the difference of, say, a good leader and a bad leader. Are they both leaders? Yeah, but there's a good side of it and an evil, negative, bad side of it at the same time. And we want to make sure that we're staying on the good side of it. And being on the good side of it means that we're trying to help the others, not just my own self, not me, not just all about me. Because that's where the manipulation comes in, because people can appear like they're trying to help you, but in reality, they're only trying to help themselves. We don't see it at first, but we'll see it in the end. That's what I'm going to be interested to see, like what happens in the next 10, 20 years in our country, because we could see where up front it looks good, but later on, that's when we really realize what was actually going on. Because I don't look at somebody right now and am going to put this is who they are. No, I want to see the trickle effect. What's going on later and later and later down the road. That's who the people really are, the aftermath. Because you'll see, if they're only about themselves, the aftermath is going to fall apart. It's going to tumble. But if they were about helping people, you're going to see that it just keeps getting better and it keeps growing. That's where the words are the wordplay with everything in our political sense right now is kind of frightening me in a sense of, we want to make it good because of this person, but once this person is gone, is it not going to be good anymore? And if it's not good anymore, that means that person wasn't really trying to make it good. They really weren't trying to help out. They were just trying to help out for themselves in that moment to make themselves appear and see a way. And then later on, it's like, oh, see, you still need me. No, we do not need to be dependent on anybody to be able to be in a, say, thriving society. We need to be dependent upon ourselves. And that's what I'm going to be excited to be able to just keep on seeing. The more and more I'm blessed to hopefully be able to live as long as absolutely possible, to be able to see like the aftermath of everything that's going on. That's going to show what's happening, what's going on, what's going on around here. Because for me, my entire lifetime of just looking at, say, presidents of the United States of America, not a single one has just made it better. Not a single one. They may have made it better short term in the moment, and then later on it just went right back to chaos. Went right back to chaos. Over and over and over and over and over again. That's all that happens. That means that they got in trying to help us, say that they're going to be the leader to us to get us to be better, but in reality, they weren't. They were in it for our own dang self is all that they were in it for. And I'm seeing that as just the norm. Over and over, I keep watching this. Like, think of something that I don't know why it's the first name that came to mind, that Bill Clinton has done that we're still benefiting from today. Think of something that George Bush has done that we're still benefiting from today. You're going to find like one or two little things here and there, but they're going to be like not big things. They're going to be like just one or two little things. Not awesome, amazing things for us as a people. Not now we're finally having more work. We're finally having more availability to be able to better care for ourselves. We just don't see that. We see that a new one comes in with saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make everything better, that they messed it all up, so I'm going to do better. And it's like, what? They all start off the first 4, or actually most people are in for 8 years since I've been alive. Most, except one so far. Is it just the one? I think Biden's the only one that hasn't been in for 8 years. Well, I can say he's been in for 8 years because he was vice president, so technically he was in for 8 years. But not one, my entire life, have the first year to that 8th year done something that the new person says, oh, that we now need to fix all of this. And then we as a people go into that so blindly. That's what's crazy to me. So blindly of like, yeah, we do need to fix all these things. That means that person is not about helping us, but only just helping themselves.